Hi, everyone. My name is Melanie Mirzayan. I'm the owner of Wild Bakes and Cakes. Thank you for joining me today. I know it's 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, almost dinner time. So thank you for being here. Today, we are going to learn how to make or decorate our cupcakes with buttercream, but in a very non-traditional way. It's super cute. It's a very fun process. It's kind of a trendy thing that's been going on for a little bit. And so I figured that would be a fun class to kind of teach. And we are also going to learn how to make super cute roses with fondant. They're so easy that you could decorate your cupcakes with. You can, make little ones, big ones, ultimately decorate your cakes and things like that. So it comes in really handy. And also how to use some of our different silicone molds just to decorate your cupcakes or your desserts using chocolates. So we have actually a lot to cover today. There's a lot of steps we're going to go through. If you are following me, following along, once we kind of get through the process of how to use the buttercream in the mold, then you're going to have to freeze your cupcakes, and you won't be able to use it for probably a couple hours, which is fine. We can get that, squared away, put it in the freezer, come back, and then just kind of work on all the decoration pieces. And then when you're ready to decorate your cupcake, you can pull it out and kind of go from there. All right, so with that said, let's go to the top-down camera. All right, I'm gonna kind of briefly go over all the stuff that we're gonna need for the class today. Obviously, you're going to need your cupcakes. I usually end up including my own vanilla cupcake and buttercream in the class kind of handout section. So hopefully you guys are seeing that and able to kind of use it and make it on your own. Obviously, you don't have to use that specifically, that recipe. You can kind of come up with your own. You can use chocolate cake, lemon cake, whatever it is that you wanted. You essentially just need the cupcake. And you need your buttercream, which we'll talk about kind of the consistency and the thickness of it in a second. You will need your fondant. And for the class, I kind of picked the reds and the pinks just because they're pretty. But at the end of the day, you don't have to go with all the colors that I'm recommending. This is just for you guys to get familiarized with the technique, and then you can obviously tailor it to your needs. If you're having a birthday party for the kids and it's Super Mario Brothers or some sort of princess, you guys can pick and choose what colors you guys want to work with. So for our chocolate, I'm going with yellow. Again, this is totally optional as far as like what color you want to use. And Michael's has the Sweet Tooth Fairy brand for the Meltables, and they have a bazillion different colors there. It's awesome. It's like one of my favorite aisles to go to because it's so easy. You could just pick and choose the color you want and go with it. However, you can also use white chocolate. I know in my last class, we had a couple of questions, can you use white chocolate? Can you color the white chocolate? Absolutely. So you would grab the white version of this, and you're gonna need to get your food coloring as well, the color that you want. The thing here is you have to make sure that the color that you choose is oil-based, not water-based, because water and chocolate, they don't like each other, so it's not gonna go well. And Michael's does carry both of them, so just, be cautious and conscious about, reading labels and making sure you're grabbing the right one. So you could color your chocolate that way as well. We are going to need our circle cutters to be able to create our roses. And again, this is totally up to you as far as the size. If you go with a smaller cutter, you're going to have cute little roses. If you want to go with something bigger, you can do that as well. I will make a few in this class just to kind of show you guys the difference. It's essentially the same technique. It just one looks bigger than the other. Then you will need your fun little silicone molds. I'm choosing the little popsicle ice cream one here and the dinosaur one. But essentially, you know, this is totally up to you. Whatever the party theme is or whatever your kids like, you guys can go with that as well to decorate your cupcakes. As far as the fondant, it's kind of the same thing. I also had another question in the last class. Can you use white fondant instead of the colored ones? Absolutely. So I usually get the big one just because I do a lot of baking and decorating, and that works well for me. And I will get the white one, and then again I will get my color. And for the fondant one, it doesn't have to be the oil based, so you could just pick up the regular food coloring of your choice. And I'll actually show you guys how to color a piece of white fondant just to see the process there as well. But Michael's carries these little bags for fondants that they're already colored, and they are awesome. They're easy to work with, especially if you have a smaller project that you're going to do. You don't want to go with something big like this because unfortunately fondant dries out very quickly after it's been opened. So if you are not going to use it for a while, I would suggest going with something smaller. And something else to keep in mind as far as like coloring the white fondant is if you need like the reds or the blacks or anything like that, you definitely want to grab the pre-made one, only because they're kind of hard to color the white one with that one. So just a little side note. And we have our little rollers to be able to roll out our fondant. Michael also carries this in different sizes. And I wanted to show you guys this in the last class. The roller comes with these little rubber things that goes on top of it or on the side of each one. And they are different kind of width and thickness. And what this does is it will keep, when you're rolling out your fondant, it'll keep it kind of even. So you're not going to have, you know, where one side goes really flat and one side's like kind of fat and thick. And this keeps things kind of consistent and even, and depending on, you know, how thick you want your fondant to be. All right, so I'm going to use the pink one here. Okay. And we need our molds for our cupcakes. Now, this one is a donut silicone mold. I have the one that I'm going to be showing you guys for the class already in the freezer. So I'm going to have to run and grab it real quick because we're going to have to do a couple things backwards in the class, only because when you freeze your frosting, it's when you pull it out of the freezer, it's got such a short time before it starts melting. So you want to work very quickly when you use this technique. But don't worry, I'll cover all of it and then we can go from there. You will also probably need your piping bags. And for this one, they usually have different sizes. So you want to pay attention to that as well. They have 12 inches, they have 16 inches. The 12 ones are obviously smaller and they are good for decorating things, you know, putting chocolate in there or smaller pieces, decorating smaller pieces. The bigger bags, the 16 one, is you're going to need that for your buttercreams because you want to make sure you have enough room to fill your bag. All right. So if you guys give me 1 second, I'm going to go grab the mold. I'll be right back. All right, guys, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to clean up this section a little bit. And I will talk to you guys about, you know, how to melt the chocolate and all the other stuff, but I just wanted to kind of pull this out real quick. So I have something to show you guys. All right, so once you have your cupcakes ready to go and you have your frosting ready to go, you want the frosting thickness to be a little bit on the thicker side. Because that's what works well with the silicone molds. And when you're trying to freeze them, you're able to pull out the cupcake in one piece, essentially. So to do that, if you want to go thicker, you end up adding more powdered sugar to get the consistency. If it's too thick and you need to kind of thin it down a little bit, then you add either milk or water just to get the consistency what you want to do. And always, you know, keep in mind, you want to start with small portions and go that way, as opposed to, you know, pour lots of like milk in there and then start mixing it and it's, you know, mushy and watery. So just a little tip there. To be able to frost our cupcakes, we are going to use our bigger piping bag. I'm using the 32, or not 32, sorry, the 16-inch. And what you guys want to do is essentially get your buttercream inside this bag. The easiest way that I normally do it is I use like a taller a cup. It could be glass, it could be plastic, it doesn't matter. You just want to make sure you have kind of the height that you need. So this makes things so much easier. And you kind of roll this over the edge of the cup and voila, you have a stable base to put your buttercream in, okay? And we will scoop this in there with our spatula as much as we want. And again, if you guys end up putting a lot in there and you don't end up using it, no worries. You can always squeeze the buttercream back into your container and kind of go from there. Just a side note, with this technique and the molds that we are using, you're probably going to need to make a lot of buttercream, but that just depends on how much you guys, or how many cupcakes you want to make. All right, so we have our buttercream in our bag. We're just going to give it a kind of like a shake, get everything down to the edge. And as you can see, I haven't cut anything here yet because I want to make sure I cut the right size. Again, you know, if you end up cutting too much, then everything will pour out and then you won't be able to do what it is that you want to do. If you go too small, you can't be, you know, you're not able to like squeeze the buttercream out as much as you want. All right. So for the molds, I chose this one from Michael's because it's such a fun little pattern. And when you pull the cupcakes out, it creates kind of a little hole in the middle, and you can utilize that to decorate your cupcake with, you know, the chocolate little molds or the roses and things like that. You can do, it's the same technique with the donut ones. You can, I know Michael's also has same silicone mold with the same kind of bigness of the design, but instead of the swirlies, they have flowers, and they're all different cute little flowers. So essentially, once you learn this technique, you can apply it to whatever. You just need to make sure you get the right, you know, food certified silicone molds, and make sure it's big enough to kind of cover your cupcake. You can, you know, for Mother's Day and Thanksgiving, for Christmas, like all the holidays coming up, I'm sure there's so many fun ones that you can choose. And again, you know, once you know how to do it, then it's easy to be super creative. All right, so before I go ahead and put the buttercream in here, this is where we're going to do things a little bit backwards, because I don't want my buttercream to melt anymore. I want to make sure I'm able to pull it out. So essentially, once you pour in your buttercream and you put your cupcake, which I will show you in a second, you put it in the freezer for a few hours. You want to make sure it's nice and solid before you guys take it out. And when you take it out of the freezer, and this is where you have to work a little bit quickly because you don't want to let it sit there and kind of get mushy and melt a little bit, then you won't be able to pull it out. So once you are ready and you want to get your cupcakes out of the silicone mold, you have to go very slow and be gentle and just kind of start pulling away from, let me see if you guys could see it, and slowly lift your cupcake out. All right. And just make sure that you take your time and get it out. Voila, super cute. And you have this ready to go to kind of decorate and do whatever it is you want to do. Sometimes you're going to see how, let me see if I can get it closer. You know, it's not perfect. It's not super solid, but that's okay. As long as you don't get chunks of it like break off when you're pulling it out of the silicone, I think it's good. Okay, so let me pull out the other ones out as well. Again, you want to go very gentle and start pulling from all sides. And then hopefully I'm not going to get any crazy breakages, but if I do, that'll be cool for you guys to kind of see what happens. All right, it's starting to melt a little bit, but see, this one kind of got stuck in there only because I didn't pull it out soon enough. And that's okay. I mean, if you're going to decorate it and put chocolate over it or anything like that, it's still fine. Get this guy out before this one kind of melts. So that's the only downside of this technique. You have to work really fast just to be able to pull your cupcakes out of the silicone mold. Yeah, this one's breaking a little bit too, but that's all right. There you go. And you can kind of use your finger, maybe hold things in place. This one looks kind of terrible, but that's okay. But you get the point. I actually did another one with the donut mold just to show you guys the difference between the molds and the shapes and things like that. Right, I'll be right back for that one. All right. And here is our donut one. Okay. So we're going to pull away gently, kind of go around and hope it doesn't break off. Okay, and just slowly pull your cupcake away from the silicone mold. There we go. Now we have the donut one. All right, so now we're going to go backwards and show you how to actually do this. All right. So we're going to go back to this. Move these guys over a little bit. Please feel free to put in the chat if you guys have any questions or if you want to see something that I just did as review. I can't see the screen, but Carrie will definitely shout out the questions for me. All right, so now we're gonna fill in our silicone molds, right? Now we have to cut our bag. So we want to cut big enough hole where we can easily fill in the mold, but we don't want it to be too much because then we're gonna have problems controlling how much actually goes in the mold. So we'll go right about maybe there. Okay. And I don't know if you guys could see it. It's kind of have it come out. There we go. And all you do is you fill it in a circular motion and make sure you squeeze and you twist and you get it all the way up to the edge. You don't want to overflow. Okay. And because that's going to get all messy, I'll do a clean side on this one. So you just want to squeeze and slowly as you're squeezing, kind of twist and go around the hole. Just like that, just to fill it up to the edge, maybe a little bit less lower than the edge. Again, you don't want to overflow and you don't want to go too little, because then your cupcake's going to have it'll have a hard time attaching itself to the buttercream. And I'll show you guys the donut one, just so you could see it doesn't matter what mold you end up working with, it's the same technique. All right, so same concept here. We're gonna squeeze one end, and kind of as we're squeezing, we're gonna go around the mold. You can go back and forth just so you fill it in nicely. All right, don't overflow. And if you have, like I said, if you end up with a lot left over, you can squeeze it back into your container over here and use it for something else. So now that we have our buttercream in our molds, all we have to do is take our cupcake, flip it over, and make sure you're centering it, right? You're gonna center it and push it down. You're gonna push it all the way down, not super fast, not super hard, just enough where you could see it's sitting on top of the buttercream. See if I can show you guys. See, it's definitely touching and sitting on the buttercream. Want to give it a little bit of a firmer push. And you, again, you don't want to push it so hard where everything just starts oozing out from the sides. All right, so that's one. We're going to do these guys as well. Same thing, you just flip over your cupcake. Make sure it's centered, and you're going to push it down like that. And make sure it's definitely covering all the sides. You're not pushing it so hard where it's oozing out. A little bit of ooze, it's okay. Essentially, you can clean off the edges if you want to. It's not a big deal. It doesn't, I mean, you guys can see this one doesn't look bad at all. And that's the same way I did this one. All right. Show you guys one more time. Okay, so you have your cupcake. And again, it doesn't matter what flavor. As long as you have a cupcake and it's ready to go, you just flip it over. Make sure it's centered. And you're going to push it down just like that, gentle. And make sure that it's, again, sitting nicely but firmly inside the buttercream. Okay. So after this process, this is where you will put the silicone mold just like this in your freezer. And make sure when it goes in the freezer, I know my freezer, I have a whole bunch of bazillion things in there with chickens and things like that. So you want to keep it separate from all of that. You want to create a section in your freezer that's kind of flat, away from, other foods and things like that. And you just kind of let it sit in the freezer. Obviously nothing touching it for at least few hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, the longer, the better. But you want to make sure you give it at least 2 hours. Okay. And when you are ready to work with it, make sure you're ready to work with it. So as soon as you pull this out of the freezer, you need to be able to pull the cupcakes out, or else, this one, as you can see, we weren't even talking that much and I pulled it out and it's kind of sticking to it. Sometimes if you make your buttercream too dry, where it's kind of crumbly, this could also happen. But for the most part, we want things to be nice and cold. So one little tip on the buttercream, since we're talking about it, I used to take Michael's cake decorating. There were certification classes for cake decorating years and years and years ago with my really good friend Lorraine. I don't know if she's watching right now, but in that class, one of the instructors told us that the best way to gauge how firm your buttercream is. So I'm going to squeeze this out real quick just to show you guys. So once you have your buttercream made, the best way to tell if it's firm, if it's medium, or if it's too soft is use a smaller spatula or your decorating kind of tools. You stick it in there And if your spatula, I don't have enough buttercream, so it's probably not going to work, but you stick it in there and you let go. If your spatula falls over, then your buttercream is too soft. If it stays just like that and doesn't move, then you have a firmer buttercream. If it kind of like moves a little bit but doesn't completely fall over, then it's medium. Obviously, you need more buttercream in your pan or bucket to be able to tell. But that's kind of a fun way to gauge if you're new and you kind of don't know, is my buttercream firm? Is it too soft? That's a quick way of doing it. All right. So let's see, we are going, let me move all this over. Now I'm going to show you guys the chocolate because we are going to make our decorations to decorate these fun little cupcakes. Okay, so chocolate, let's talk about chocolate a little bit. The meltables, these are really easy to work with. However, and I know I talk about this in all my classes when I use chocolate. I know because there's some newbies that I get questions asked all the time. So when you get the bag and you're trying to melt your chocolate, you always want to make sure you have a microwave safe glass bowl. Okay, don't use plastic, don't use any weird glass bowls that you have no idea if it's microwavable or not. All right. And the recommendation is you set your microwave power to 50% and you start with 1 minute. So you set it for 50%, you set your 1 minute, 1 minute is over, you pull it out of the microwave and you start mixing it. Okay, you have to give it a good mix. You can't just do a couple and be like, oh, I still have, chunks in there, I'm going to put it back in. The glass gets really hot, so it constantly melts your chocolate. So you want to make sure you give it a good mix. And if it still needs to go back into the microwave, then your second step is to, again, at 50%, 30-second increments, right? So you put 30 seconds, you pull it out and you start mixing it. And honestly, usually I'll do 1 minute. Sometimes I'll get through my 30-second and then I'm good to go. All right, so that's kind of a fun little tip there. They also talk about adding 2 teaspoons of vegetable shortening if your chocolate is kind of too thick. And what they're talking about is sometimes when you're dipping things in your chocolate, like the cake balls and the cake pops and things like that, where essentially they're a little bit on the softer side, you want your chocolate to be very kind of drippy. Sorry, I don't know if you guys could see it or not. But once you like lift your spoon, it has to kind of easily pour out, right? And that's what you need when you're dipping things. For me personally, when I use the vegetable shortening, it starts clumping up my chocolate and I don't like it. So what works for me is I will substitute that with coconut oil. I'll put 2 tablespoons of, if I'm using the whole bag, I'll do 2 teaspoons of coconut oil before I melt it. And then I'll go through the whole melting process and then I'll gauge and see. And it's like, okay, I think this is going to work, or it's still thick enough and I need to add more. And again, always remember, don't go crazy and start pouring oils in there because if you put too much in there, then you kind of ruin your chocolate, right? It's too watery, you can't work with it, you kind of can't go backwards until you get more bags and add more chocolate. So always start slow and you can always add. I had another question last time about same thing with fondant. So yes, you can use white chocolate to put in different colors. And the question was, you put the color before or after? It kind of doesn't matter. You can melt your chocolate first and then start adding your drops to it and then start mixing it, right? Until you get the color shade that you're looking for. So again, go with 1 or 2 drops and then add more if you need to. Okay, hope that answered that question. Are we all good with moving forward? Any questions up to this point? Nope.
No, I
Okay.
don't see any questions so far.
We're good. Okay. All right. So we have our chocolate melted, and now we are going to pour it into our little molds. Okay, you don't have to freeze these guys. You don't have to do anything special for this one. For the chocolates, like super easy. So whatever mold you're going with, you just kind of use your spoon essentially and pour it into the holes just a little bit, right? Just like that. And don't be scared, if you overflow, it's not the end of the world. You guys can, clean it off. Or at the end, when you pull it out of the mold, you can clean off the side. So no big deal. All right, I'm going to do one more here, and then I'll show you guys how to pull out the chocolates out of the molds. Okay, so once you put in your chocolate, then you want to make sure you give it a good tap, because you want to cover all the little holes, all the little corners. So you just tap it like that. And as you can see, everything gets filled in, right? And this guy, I had too much on there, so I kind of flew over on the sides. That's okay. You can use a paper towel just to wipe up the sides. You can use your finger, honestly, it's totally fine. And if you don't want to do anything, that's fine too. Once you pull them out, then we can clean the sides. So no big deal. We got that one. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just kind of give it a good tap to get it nice and flat. Okay. Now for these guys, for the chocolate, you can essentially leave it on your counter and let it kind of harden on its own. Obviously, it's going to take a longer time. And if you have time and if you're not in a hurry, you can definitely do it that way. Or you can just pop these guys in the fridge for like literally a couple minutes or so. And it firms up enough where you can pull it out of the mold and kind of work with it. So once they're dried out and nice and hard, all you have to do is just peel away the silicone mold, okay? And you'll get your little fun things come out, okay? And the key with silicone mold is peeling it off slowly, right? Obviously with the chocolate, it's nice and hard. You don't have to worry too much about it because you're not going to really damage it or anything unless you're going super crazy. But see how cute they are. They just pop out. You can mix and match colors. You can essentially pour in a couple different colors in one mold and get like a funky psychedelic look and feel. So whatever you guys want to do, it's all good. And I'll show you the dinosaur one. And same thing, you just pop it out and peel it, and these guys come out. And see, we have a little bit of tiny bit that didn't come off. I can use a knife to scrape off the little edges. Sometimes it's easy enough where you just, if you do it with your finger gently, you can kind of clean up the sides as well. Okay. So with this one, there's a lot more room to make mistakes and fix your mistakes. But like I said, with the buttercream one, it's freezer. You pull it out of the freezer. You need to pull it out of those molds or else they're going to start sticking. Okay. So now let me pop this guy out too, just to have my little dinosaurs. All right, so now we are going to work with fondant and make our cute little roses. I know some people, you hear you're like, oh, making flowers, it's so hard. That used to be me. I was terrified making flowers because some of these cake artists, like what they do is just absolutely amazing. And you obviously, when you're starting out, you don't have those skills, or some people don't want to learn those skills, but you want to make cute little flowers for your cupcakes. And here is a super easy way to do them. All right. I am going to use, I have the red one. So you take your fondant, whatever color you like. Okay. Just want to get a portion of it out. And again, this all depends on how many flowers are you making? How many do you need? You obviously don't want to take out a big chunk of fondant and start rolling the whole thing out and cut flowers if you don't need all of them, right? And always remember, once you open up a bag, you have to make sure you cover it up very quickly, airtight in a Ziploc bag, or else it starts drying out and there isn't much you can do with it, okay? Another fun little trick working with fondant, you can use your vegetable shortenings just a little bit, just to get it soft enough. So what you would do is you just kind of get it with your finger. You don't want to do too much, just enough, just about that much for this much butter or fondant. And you kind of rub it all over it and then work with it just to get it a little bit on the soft side if it's starting to dry out just a little bit, right? Sometimes it's so dry where it's like super hard, and unfortunately you can't really save those. All right. And your surface, make sure your surface is nice and clean, especially if you're working with lighter color fondant. I've done this before where I'm so busy, I have like bazillion things happening, I don't pay attention, and I start rolling out the white fondant and realize there's all kinds of colors and chunky things that get stuck to it. And it's like, oops. And you can also use the shortening to put on your table or your wherever your surface, wherever you are rolling out your fondant, to make sure that your fondant doesn't stick to it. Okay, so that's another fun little trick that you can do. Just kind of grease up the area, not too much, just enough. And you can kind of do that. Tyson, you want to come say hi to everyone? My son is 6 years old. He's so funny. He usually helps me with stuff like this. He loves to decorate and kind of bake with me. And he was just poking his head through the corner. Okay, so for the roller, this is where these little guys will come in handy, right? You want to make sure you have them, so that way when you roll out your fondant, you get nice and even, consistent thickness to it, okay? And all you have to do is just kind of roll it out, just like that. And the edges will protect you from creating weird thicknesses on the side. So roll it out. You don't want it to be too thick when you're making these flowers because it doesn't look right. And you don't want it to be too thin, then they just kind of fall apart and they're super hard to work with. But once you get your fondant rolled out, I don't know if you guys could see the thickness. It's not super thick and it's not super thin. It's just kind of on the thinner side for sure, but not, you know, paper thin. Hope that helps. Okay, this is where the fun begins. Depending on what size of flower rows you want to make, you can, you know, pick and choose your circles. So we're going to go with this one. You can definitely use kind of like the ripply side if you want to. I like to go with the clean side just because it's cleaner and that's what I prefer. So there is no right or wrong. And what you need to do is you want to do at least 5 or 6 circles. Okay. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. Okay. And then you just gently peel off the excess, just like that. And again, make sure you're putting these in your Ziploc bag, okay? Because you don't want it sitting out there drying out, okay? And now that we have our circles, we're gonna start kind of layering them, all right? Let me move them a little bit. Okay, so we wanna go put this on top of the other one, kind of like halfway, right? You don't want to push it down. You don't want to squeeze it. You don't want to do anything. You want to just gently put it on there. And you just keep going until you get it all in there. All right. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to roll the entire thing this way, all right, towards you. So you grab the edge, just like that, and you just kind of roll on top of each other all the way to the end. Okay, like that. It's like a little rolly sandwich. You have one side, you have the other side. Now the cool thing is you get 2 roses out of this. You can use a knife, you could use something to kind of separate the 2 sides. So you just literally cut from the middle, right? Just like that. Now we have 2 roses and the bottoms are kind of flat. So you want to squeeze a little bit towards the middle. Okay, not necessary, but depending on where you're gonna use the rose for, right? And this is where the fun begins. I mean, it's already cute. I know my lighting is like not the best, but then you start kind of rolling the petals out, just like that. Okay, one by one. So start from the outside petals, kind of, you know, just kind of like twist them out just like that, just to open up your rose, I guess, if that makes sense, right? And there you go. We got 1 rose. We have the other one, same thing, just kind of squeeze down the bottom, kind of, you know, move it away from like that flat look, and then start opening up your rose, right? So just kind of start with the outside petals and do it like that. Just peel it off. And this is the easiest way to make cute roses. And you can obviously, you know, you can do multiple colors, you can do whatever shade that you want to do. So we have our cute little flowers. All right. Now I'm going to show you how to color white fondant, and then maybe we'll use a bigger circle to get a bigger rose, just to kind of see the difference. I want to make sure we have time, running out of time. Okay, so let's get our white fondant out. And same thing, you just get as much as you want. And make sure when you're coloring your white fondant, you are using just enough for that project, right? Because you never know when you're going to need that shade anymore. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I used all my whites, this weird purple that I'm never going to use, then you just kind of waste it. All right, so make sure you wrap it up again. I'm going to clean our surface. We don't want any weird stuff on our white fondant. All right, so I'm going to use purple to color my fondant. Again, this is totally, you know, whatever color you guys want to do, right? And the bigger drops you put in, so you want to create kind of like a little hole like that, not a hole, but crevice or whatever here, and then put in your color. So I'm just going to do 1 drop. Okay, let's go. Oh, that's a huge drop. So, you know, the more color you put in there, the darker the shade will be. So just so keep in mind. And again, I should probably be wearing gloves. The food coloring will stain your fingers and everything else around you. So just be mindful of that, right? I'm going to show you guys the best way not to get it on your fingers as much. But essentially, you know, you don't want to start messing with the color. You want to start folding in your fondant like that, and then fold it over to kind of make sure it's in there. It's going to get messy. I can already tell because I put too much in there. All right. And start pulling. Pull, fold over. You're going to pull, fold over, and just kind of keep doing this process until you get it all nicely, evenly colored your fondant. Okay. You guys can see it definitely stains, and it does stay on your fingers for a while. Sad to say, it does. All right, so you just kind of pull, fold, pull, fold. And that's the best way to make sure you're getting all the white colored. All right. So now I have this fun purple color. And this is what I'm talking about. I know you guys can't probably see what I'm saying, but now it's starting to stick to my fingers. It's getting kind of, this happens when you are in a humid place. It starts getting kind of sticky and it'll be really hard to work with. So this is where you want to use your shortening a little bit. Okay. Just kind of rub it over so it's coating it and it's not sticking to your fingers anymore. That's much better. What are you doing? You want to come say hi? All right, so now we're going to roll this out. Kind of flatten it out with your finger. Make sure you guys could see that. And then kind of roll this out. Okay. And again, you don't want it to be too thick because then the rose doesn't look all that great. You don't want it to be too thin because then it'll just kind of crumble and look weird. All right. So now we're going to use a bigger circle. Let's go. Let me see if that's bigger. Yep. Let's do a little bit bigger. Okay. So I'm going to have to probably do more rollouts. But again, we're going to need about 5 to 6 circles. All right. And again, I like the more solid side of it. You can definitely do the ripply side. Okay, so I'm going to need, sorry guys, I'm going to have to make a little bit more to get 6 out of it. But it's the same kind of process. Okay. And let's see, since I don't have enough purple, this is good for you guys to kind of see all the things that might go wrong. Let me see how many I can get. Do this one, and then if not, I'll just kind of mix and match with my whites, or I have red. We'll go ahead and use that one. All right, pull this out. Okay. Get a couple more and I think we should be fine. Good to go. All right. So it's the same process, guys. You know, it's like once you learn the steps and the skill of how to make these, again, you can customize it to whatever it is that you want it for, right? And again, we want to make sure we're going halfway and we're stacking it just like that. Not stacking it, but layering it, sorry. All right, let's get it all in there. Okay. And again, we're going to start rolling it towards us. Just like that. Make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want it to be very kind of loosey-goosey. Roll it all in there. All right. And we're going to get 2 roses out of this as well. We got one side, second side. We're going to cut in the middle. Okay. And we're going to kind of smush in the bottom part of it. And we're going to go ahead and start opening up our rose, the petals. We're going to start from the outside layer and kind of open them up as we kind of go along. There we go. Oh, it's actually kind of cute. 2 colors. There you go. So we have that one. We'll do one more. And then I'll show you guys how to decorate our fun cupcakes. Okay. Get this one opened up as well. So you can see kind of the size difference. Not a lot here because I didn't use the very big one as opposed to a smaller one, but that's kind of how you would do it if you want to create, you know, little tiny roses, big roses, and create a bouquet out of it. Okay. So now that we have our cupcake ready to go, this is where it gets kind of fun. I'm going to show you guys a couple ways. One, we're going to pour I'm going to use so this one that kind of got messed up, this will be a perfect one to pour chocolate over, right? And that's how we kind of cover it up a little bit. So we'll put this aside for a second. Okay. And you guys can kind of pour, either use your piping bag, put the chocolate in the piping bag and kind of squeeze out your chocolate and get that dripping effect. Or you can use your spoon to kind of get that dripping effect. I'm actually going to use my parchment paper because I don't want to get the table all messy. And always make sure you have parchment paper close by for emergency cases. All right. So now we're going to drip, try to drip, move it closer. Kind of get that dripping effect on the sides. Just like that. Just to give it color. And again, I forgot to tell you guys earlier, when you're doing your buttercream, you can also add color to your buttercream. So it doesn't necessarily have to be white. You guys can, add in pinks and purples and greens and multiple colors. So you can definitely have fun with that as well, right? I just kind of used white just to do that. So we have our dripping effect going on this one. Just kind of tap it just to get the chocolate drip off and kind of smooth. All right. Move it over. Okay. And this is where you can use sprinkles of, I know Michael's has a bazillion different colors and shapes. And so again, it's whatever it is that you guys want to do, but you can kind of, while the chocolate is wet, this is where you want to add in your sprinkles. All right. This is not working well. So I'm just going to use my hand and add it on there. Okay, this effect is super cute when you do it on the donut one. You pour your chocolate over the donut and then you put in the sprinkles over it and it comes out super cute. If we have time, I'll do that one last just so you guys could see it. So once you have that on there, then you can go ahead and say, okay, now I want to put, my red rose in there. So that goes in the middle, just like that. So now we have this cute cupcake that we utilize chocolate and fondant to create this fun piece, okay? And it's the same concept of this one over here. You can just put on your sprinkles on there if you want, if you don't want to pour in chocolate, and you have obviously different colors and stuff you want to do, and you can put some candy in the middle and then kind of decorate it with your the chocolate stuff, the little chocolate characters, or whatever it is that you just made. You kind of start putting them in there as well. And these are super cute and super fun. It's like, okay, I have a dinosaur theme for the party. I'm going to start putting my dinosaurs in there. All right. And here's another one. So just fun little decorating techniques that you guys can do to customize it to whatever it is that you want to do for your birthday or party or holiday. So we have these two. How are we doing? Okay, so we have these two, and then I'm going to show you, let me make sure we have 5 minutes. I'll show you guys this one. If you have any questions you want to ask, please feel free to ask them now. I know the class gets recorded and they usually have it online on the Michael's YouTube channel. I believe about 24 hours after the class is recorded, and you guys can go and rewatch the whole thing and see if you missed any steps. If you have any questions, if you're following me on Wild Bakes on Instagram, you can message me there and I will answer all the questions. That's the best place to kind of see my upcoming classes that are coming up. I think the next one is going to be an ice cream cone cake pop, and I believe that's next week. So don't forget to sign up for the classes. Send me any questions if you have them. Ask me the questions now if you have them. But essentially, it's the same kind of concept here. You want to make sure your chocolate is nice and melted and it's not thick and sticky. Actually, let me put my parchment paper again because I don't want to make a mess. All right. And we're going to pour our chocolate on with a dripping effect. Drizzle on the sides. And then we're going to tap it just to kind of get the drip to look like a drip if it's not happening as you're pouring it on there. Okay. Just like that. Kind of get it on top. And then we're gonna tap it down just to get the cute little donut drip effect. And same concept, you can put your little sprinkles over it. This always reminds me of Homer Simpson. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show, but every time I see donuts, I think of Homer. Weird, I know. Okay, so now we have our cute little donut cupcake. And as you guys can see, once you pull them out of the freezer or out of the mold, they hold up okay. You know, you don't obviously want to set it on the counter all day because it'll eventually like melt away. But the trick is when you pull it out of the freezer, you want to immediately remove it from the silicone mold. All right. And cupcakes are usually good 2 to 3 days in an airtight container. Put them in the fridge, depending on your recipe. If you use, eggs and dairy and that kind of thing. Anything past day 3, it kind of starts getting stale and weird. So just the preference. I know some people are like, how long is it good for? 2 to 3 days. Okay, so we have all of our cupcakes done. And what are you doing? You want to come say hi? We have our roses that we can play around with and decorate them however we want to. You can use these roses for, if you're making a cake, you can kind of do that. You can turn it into like a bouquet and add some sprinkles around it. So you can have a lot of fun with these things, all right? It's just kind of understanding the technique and the process, and you guys can definitely have fun. Since unfortunately I can't see what you guys are doing and making, I would love to see your final product. So if you have them or going to make them, make sure to share them on Instagram. Make it with Michael's. I'll definitely be able to see it there, or Wild Bakes and Cakes. I always want to see what you guys come up with. I hope you guys enjoyed this class and it was easy to follow. Again, if you have any questions, don't forget to message me, and you can go back and watch the video after 24 hours or so. Classes are coming up. Next week, I have my next class, which is going to be the ice cream cone cake pops. Those are super fun. You can actually use them for like party favors, or you can bag them for like gifts and stuff. So maybe I'll spend like 5 to 10 minutes towards the end of the class, show you guys how to package these things, because I've had questions in the past. If I make my cool creations and I want to gift them, how do I do that? Certain things you can't, just because if it's soft and mushy, it'll stick to packaging, depending on what kind of packaging. But I'll try to at least cover some of those questions. All right, I think I talked a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed the class. Have a good rest of the day and hope to see everyone next week. All right, bye everyone.